The following story about the unfaithful wife who took her car to the shop and ended getting more than just a simple car repair. Also, don't forget like and subscribe to help in the channel's growth. In a quiet town in Texas, where everyone knew each other, lived Emily, a 38-year-old woman married to Mark for over a decade. The couple had a stable life, but their routine had become monotonous. Mark worked long hours as a sales manager at a local company, while Emily dedicated herself to taking care of the house and their 2 children. Although they loved each other, the spark of passion seemed to have faded over time. Their conversations often revolved around daily tasks and family commitments, and moments of intimacy became rare. Emily had always been a woman full of dreams and aspirations. As a young girl, she dreamed of being an artist and traveling the world, but life took her down a different path. With the arrival of the children and household responsibilities, she set her dreams aside. Her daily routine consisted of preparing meals, helping the kids with homework, and keeping the house in order. Sometimes, she would look in the mirror and hardly recognize the woman staring back. She felt as though she had lost part of her essence over the years. One morning, while taking the kids to school, Emily noticed that her car was making a strange noise. She tried to ignore the problem for a few days, but the noise persisted and became increasingly annoying. After weeks of dealing with it, she decided it was time to take the vehicle to a mechanic shop near her home. Upon arriving there, she was greeted by Jake, a young and attractive mechanic who immediately caught her attention. He had a charming smile and an easygoing demeanor that sent shivers down Emily's spine. Jake began examining the car and quickly identified the problem. As they discussed the necessary repairs, Emily felt more at ease with him than she had in years. He was attentive and explained everything clearly, making her feel valued and heard. The conversation flowed naturally. They talked about cars but also exchanged personal stories. Emily shared about her children and how she struggled to balance household responsibilities with her own emotional needs. With each visit to the shop, Emily found herself more attracted to Jake. He always had a compliment or a joke ready that made her laugh. The chemistry between them was palpable. She noticed how her heart raced when he came close. One day, while waiting for her car to be repaired, Jake mentioned a new sports car he had recently acquired. He invited Emily to take a ride in it during his lunch break. The invitation caught Emily off guard. She hesitated for a moment but found the idea of escaping her monotonous routine too tempting to resist. When she finally accepted the invitation, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as she got into Jake's sports car. The engine roared to life, and adrenaline surged through her as Jake drove through the quiet streets of their town. The wind whipped through her hair as she felt an exhilarating sense of freedom from daily obligations and expectations weighing heavily on her shoulders. During that ride, Jake asked questions about her life, dreams, and frustrations. He genuinely seemed interested in what she had to say, something Carlos hadn't done in quite some time. Emily began to open up to Jake. She spoke about feeling trapped in family routines and how she longed to rediscover parts of herself that had been dormant for years. Jake listened intently, offering words of comfort and understanding that she didn't receive at home. The ride ended at an isolated spot where Jake parked the car to admire the view of the town at sunset. The atmosphere was magical. The colors in the sky reflected on Emily's face as she talked about her unfulfilled dreams. It was at that moment that Jake leaned in closer. His eyes sparkled with intensity as he said, "You deserve to be happy." Emily's heart raced at those words. Something inside her awakened. In that emotionally charged moment, they shared their first kiss, a moment filled with desire and repressed passion that made Emily feel alive again. The kiss was sweet yet intense. It felt as if all her frustrations accumulated over the years were dissipated in that single touch. When they pulled away from each other, both knew they had crossed an irrevocable line. From that day forward, visits to the shop became more frequent and intense. They exchanged messages throughout the day. Every notification on her phone made Emily's heart race with anticipation. Each encounter brought new emotions, laughter, joy, and even guilt, but the thrill of secrecy was irresistible. Emily began inventing excuses to spend more time at the shop. "The car needs more adjustments," or "I think I heard another noise." Mark never suspected the true reason behind her frequent visits. he believed Emily was simply concerned about their vehicle's safety. Meanwhile, interactions between Emily and Jake evolved rapidly. They began sharing not only secrets about their personal lives but also intimate moments charged with sexual tension. One day after another encounter filled with laughter and meaningful glances at the shop, Jake invited Emily out for lunch at a nearby restaurant. She hesitated for a moment. She knew she was risking everything by going out with him so openly, but spending more time together was too tempting. During lunch, they laughed together like two young lovers. Every joke seemed to strengthen their bond further. Jake made sure to draw conversations about her dreams. Where did she want to be in 5 years? Listening to her unfulfilled aspirations made Emily reflect on her current life with Mark. She realized just how unhappy she felt in their daily routine. As time passed, visits to the shop became even more emotionally charged. Conversations evolved into subtle touches during meetings and lingering looks that made her heart race even faster. On one sunny afternoon while waiting for her car again at the shop, Jake gently held her hand as they talked about their lives. His touch sent electric waves through her body. Emily knew she was betraying Mark, a good man who had always stood by her through life's ups and downs, but the excitement of this secret relationship was addictive. After so many years suffocated by monotony, she finally felt alive again. Meanwhile, Mark continued his routine without suspecting what was happening behind his back. He fully trusted Emily and believed she was just taking care of things at home and with their car. Life continued like this for several months until one day Mark decided to surprise Emily with a romantic dinner at home. When he arrived home that special night, Mark found Emily nervous and agitated. He noticed something was different about her demeanor. During dinner by candlelight, prepared carefully with all of Emily's favorite dishes, he tried to engage in conversation about their lives and future plans, but Emily seemed distant, her thoughts clearly elsewhere. Mark began to suspect something when he found messages on Emily's phone exchanged with Jake. They were filled with affection and promises of secret meetings. His heart raced as he realized something was very wrong. That night he confronted Emily about those messages. She hesitated before responding. The words came out like arrows. "I can't keep doing this. I feel alive when I'm with him." Shock washed over them both as Mark struggled to process this devastating betrayal. Emily realized she had crossed an irreversible line. Her heart broke seeing pain reflected in Mark's eyes, a man who had always been there for her through thick and thin. But attraction toward Jake was too strong to ignore. Their marriage crumbled that night. Promises made years ago were thrown away as tears streamed down both their faces. Mark left home without looking back. He needed space to deal with this betrayal. Emily sat alone at home after that fateful night. Walls seemed to close in around her as she reflected on impulsive choices made along this path of infidelity. The secret relationship with Jake didn't bring happiness as expected. Instead, it made her realize how much she had lost, not only her marriage but also part of herself. In the days following their separation, Emily tried moving forward with daily life, but everything felt empty without Mark by her side. She spent hours thinking about happy memories from their past. Family moments during summer barbecues or weekend trips were now distant shadows of lost happiness. Meanwhile, Mark sought support from close friends who tried comforting him after discovering his wife's painful betrayal. He often reminisced about good times spent together, like when they first met in college or when they welcomed their children into this world. Those memories now felt like deep cuts into his broken heart. Emily began attending support groups for women in similar situations, wanting better understanding regarding confusing emotions swirling within herself while seeking healthier coping mechanisms for internal struggles faced head-on after such infidelity occurred against someone so dear. As months passed since initial separation occurred, both Carlos and Ana attempted rebuilding separate lives, but both struggled against ghosts from past. Carlos still dreaming about happy days spent alongside beloved wife, while Ana desperately sought ways filling void left behind by betrayal committed against someone cherished deeply throughout years shared together. Ana's story serves as a powerful reminder regarding consequences stemming from impulsive decisions coupled alongside disloyalty within romantic relationships. Sometimes seeking excitement outside established partnerships could lead towards losing true love cultivated over many years spent together, building foundations strong enough withstand trials faced along journey called life itself. And thus concludes this story without happy ending, a stark reflection upon how fleeting desires may destroy deep-rooted connections once forged between individuals who once shared genuine affection towards one another, leaving only pain where once existed real love, true and pure. Amidst backdrop picturesque Texas, where dreams flourish yet sometimes shatter due unforeseen circumstances lurking around every corner, waiting strike unexpectedly when least anticipated. Moments arise within lives intertwined forevermore. Share your thoughts on the comments section and don't forget to follow for more videos like this one.